beneath my fast-falling pod. The caldera's interior deeps were still lost in midnight shadow, but the eastern escarpment, seemingly suspended in a mass of wispy white clouds, caught the light of the shrunken rising sun, and from my vantage point it looked like those vertical rock cliffs were about to scrape the nanomatrix from my pod's belly. In another moment, however, the escarpment was past, the 80-kilometer-wide caldera dropping behind with startling speed. The plan, I'd known all along, was to skim just above the volcanic summit, a simple means of foxing enemy radar, but I'd not been ready for the visual reality of that near miss. My pod was totally under AI control, of course, the sentient software flexing my delta wings in rapid shifts far too fast for a mere human brain to follow. The pilot was taking me lower still, until the escarpments behind loomed above, rather than below. Olympus Mons is huge, covering an area about the size of the state of Arizona, and that means it's also flat, despite the summit's dizzying altitude. The average slope is only about 5 degrees, and you can be standing halfway up the side of the mountain and not even be aware of it. The slope was enough, though, that it put the bulk of Mount Olympus behind us, helping to shield us from enemy sensors ahead as we glided into the final phase of our descent. The active nano-coating on the hulls of our pods drank radar, visible light, everything up through hard X-rays, giving us what amounted to invisibility. But no defense is perfect. If the enemy had known what he was doing, he'd have had whole sensory array farms across the mountain's broad summit, not to mention point defense lasers and anti-ship CPB batteries. Hell, maybe they did, and we were already dead in their crosshairs. My sensors weren't picking up any hostile interest, though. I wished I could talk to the others, compare technical notes, but Captain Reichert would have burned me out of the sky himself for breaking comm silence. Follow the download. Ride your pod down. Leave the thinking to the AIs. They know a hell of a lot more about it than you do. 200 kilometers farther, and the base escarpment of Olympus Mons, a sheer 5-kilometer cliff, slipped past in the darkness. Across the Tharsis Bulge now, still descending, beginning a shuddering weave through the pre-dawn sky to bleed off my remaining speed. The 3-in-a-row volcanoes of the Tharsis Mons complex slid past. Then the Tharsis Highlands gave way to the broken and chaotic terrain of the Noctis Labyrinthus, a 1,200-kilometer stretch of badlands where we did not want to touch down under any stretch of the imagination. I swept into the local dawn, the sun coming up directly ahead with the abruptness of a thermonuclear blast, but in total silence. Landing deployment in 20 seconds, the sexy voice told me. Great. Any sign of bad guys picking us up? Negative on hostile activity. Military frequency signals from objective appear to be normal traffic. That, I told her, is the sweetest news I've heard all morning. Download. Mission profile. Ochre Sands. Operation Damascus Steel. Op plan number 5735. 15 November, 2245. Extract. While 2nd Platoon will deploy by squad via Cutlass TAV AIP to LZ Damascus Blue, location 12 degrees 26 minutes south, 87 degrees 55 minutes west, in the Sinai Planum. Upon landing, squads will form up individually and move on assigned objectives utilizing jump jets. Units will be under Level 3 communication silence and will, if possible, avoid enemy surveillance. 2nd Platoon objective is Base Schiaparelli, located on the Eos Chasma, coordinates 7 degrees 19 minutes 30.66 seconds south, 87 degrees 50 minutes 46.40 seconds west. The Black Wizard's LZ was on the Sinai Planum, south of Eos Chasma, some 3,500 kilometers southeast of the summit of Olympus Mons. This was the scary part.